The three gunas on material objects.
Three gunas on material objects. So the question is, the three gunas are there, and so how does it manifest in material objects? So a popular example is food, how it manifests in food. So we often say sattvic food, tamasic food, etc. And so there also we have to connect it with the mind. So whatever food can make my mind sattvic will become sattvic food. And whatever mind will make my mind tamasic will become tamasic food. Tamasic. So what is that? So nice afternoon, 1 o'clock, it's hot outside, and have some nice starchy food, 5 cups of starchy food. Whatever it is, whatever your definition of starch is. So, and white rice and this and that you take, and then you can't even, you, you can't even walk to the bed. It'll be so nice, soporific. And you might wonder, what happened? Night I'm not able to sleep. How come you say sleep is coming so easily right now? And so that is called tamasic, tamasa, tamoguna. That food has tamoguna. So when we connect it to the mind, then we can easily, attribute that, give that attribute to those objects. So see, I'll give another example came to my mind. So I get like this food, right? So any food that allows the ghee, etc. This ghee is supposed to be good for the mind. So it gives the right thinking. And so even though these days we say cholesterol and this and that, so moderation, everything in moderation. So those kinds of, so Krishna is going to talk about all this. And satvika priyaha, tamasika priyaha, ityadi is going to say what kind of foods and all he enumerates. And then rajas, something that activates the mind. That's a rajas. So this onion and things like that, which can give thoughts. Those are all rajasic foods. So now look at this. An example came to my mind. So these kids, they're given toys. Okay. What kind of toys? What toys make their mind active, make their mind think, make their mind challenge their mind? Those kinds of toys, I would put it under the category of sattva. Some puzzles, some things that make the child think, oh, why, what? That's kind of inquisitiveness should come. Then what about all these guns? They're given all this AK-47. And the child all day long just goes around. There may be water inside that. And put water also, because then some reality you have to give. What is the point in having a gun which doesn't produce anything? It must produce something. Something should come out fast from the gun. So give this. So psychologists warn. They warn, don't give these kinds of combative toys. Otherwise, they get into this habit. And then video games. Combative video games. You hear only this sound. This entire video game, you only hear this sound. Dangerous, so dangerous it is for these people, whether it is children or adult, it's all the same. And so I would put that under the category of tamas. Toys which are tamas producing. Rajas, racing car racing and all that. After a while, all this car racing and all, we have to slow down. The mind is already racing. Why you don't need car racing and all that? Once in a while you do these things, it's okay. So like this, we can analyze the things that we come in contact with. Okay, Girishji?
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Mahodaya, can I ask a question?
Yeah, Harprasadji, go ahead.
Yeah. So, talking of Prakriti, you said the material that is required to make a product So the Karana is Prakriti. So um, the the three qualities, Sattva, Rajas, and the Tamoguna, it is the product of the mind. So mind is the Prakriti. Is that the end of it, or is one more step to go?
So yeah, so here the model is introduced, and so that material cause, the material is what has qualities. Because Atma cannot have qualities. What to do? Atma is Nirgunam, and so only Sagunam we can only go to Sagunam. So Prakriti, the material cause, only has attributes. Only has attributes. And
Right.
so that Prakriti, which has attributes, just impels a person to do whatever based on the three gunas, which are the qualities of the Prakriti. Am I audible?
Uh,
Am I audible?
you were audible, but I didn't follow you. Um,
Yeah.
okay,
So
the three gunas are born of the mind, correct?
yeah, so correct. Three gunas are there everywhere, and in particular, when you talk about the mind also is made of some material, let's say, and that material has three gunas, and which will therefore appear in the mind,
Okay,
which has the three gunas.
right. Now,
That's
uh, something is responsible for the material in the mind, right? Now, like that, if you go on, it ends in Maya, correct?
correct. It ends
So
in Maya. Mhm.
it ends in Maya. So Prakriti is Maya. It is a material. It is a material cause for Ishvara. Now,
Correct.
so is there anything in between the mind and Maya?
Yeah, Maya manifests as the world, everything in this world. So you can bring about that what we studied in Tattvabodha.
Ah,
So we talk about Panchikaranam, right? So the
correct.
process is there, process
Yes,
goes on.
yes.
So mind also has undergone the process of Panchikaranam. It's a very subtle, mind is very subtle as opposed to gross. So all that process has happened
Okay.
from the Panchabhutas. Panchabhutas
Okay.
are there, which has the three gunas, and based on the gunas, the Panchabhutas will mix in certain ways, and then
Correct.
produce the object which will reflect its based on its constitution. The guna
Yeah.
also will be manifest.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it. Thank you.
Yeah.
Got it. Dhanyawad.
Yeah.
Jekmarji, Samyamya and Sayamya, are they?
Yeah. So samyamya. So they are both pronounced differently, but they are the same. Samyamya
Okay.
and sanyamya. Both are
Say,
pronounced same.
because in
So
many chantings I heard this.
Yes, correct. I also asked, correct. I have also heard that. Yeah.
Purusha Suktam and even in Rudram,
Yeah.
I think, if I'm right.
so you heard
So I was
did he
just
did he
wondering,
did he
I wanted to
did
ask,
he
and today I got the opportunity.
so did you hear samyamya or sanyamya elsewhere?
I heard both because
Correct.
you used both actually.
So it's an optional pronunciation. You can pronounce
Okay.
it either way.
Okay.
So because that anuswara when it comes in some, so really it is makara pa pa bha ba ma.
Mm,
Some yamya, that
ah,
makara becomes anuswara.
correct.
Anuswara is like a dot, no?
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
Then the anuswara is there before the ya means then it can be
Sai.
sanyamya. So that the ma is pronounced like an anuswara is pronounced, and so that's what gives rise to the sanyamya.
Sanyam. Oh, nice.
Yeah. Swapna, go ahead.
Verse 5, the word jatu, does that mean remain? Is that what it is?
No, tishtati means remain, jatu means ever. Ever. So not ever, something like na jatu is never. If you combine na and jatu, it becomes never. Jatu means ever.
Dhanyavad.
Okay.
Okay. So if there are no other questions, what we can do
I
is
have
Question in the chat.
one quick question. What
Go
is
ahead.
the difference between Shuddha and Sushna?
Can you repeat that?
And what is the difference between Shuddha, that means hunger, and Sushna?
Shushna and Shubha, you said?
No, Shuddha.
Oh,
Shuddha
Shuddha.
Rupa.
Oh, Kshuddha. Kshuddha. Okay,
Ah.
okay. And Shushna.
Correct.
Yeah, I don't know right now offhand. I need to look into. Do both mean hunger? Is that what it is?
Yes.
Is that your doubt?
In Yadevi Sarva Bhuteshu, both that comes. One.
Okay, okay. Yeah, I'll need to look at that.
Thank you.
Yeah, Kshuddha Rupena Samsita Ityadi, right?
Correct. Yeah.
Okay. I'll look at it.
Ask you a question, may not be related to the verse studied today, but it has been bugging me. The question is, quite often Brahman is referred to as Ishvara and Jiva is referred to as Brahman. Is it in absolute reality or does it also apply in empirical reality?
Yeah, so Brahma is Nirgunam. Okay, when we look at the absolute reality, Brahma is Nirgunam, is free from any attributes. And Ishvara, Jiva. So the manifestation of Brahma, as when you talk about Srishti and you say, how did this Srishti come about? So the minute you ask about how, then a reason has to be given. And that reason is Ishvara. Sarvajnaha, the all-knowing, the Srishtikarta, that Ishvara is the creator. Okay. So there you have to put Saguna Brahma. Saguna Brahma. So there the Brahma with attributes is Ishvara. Okay. So then empirical reality, will you say, it's our observation. So it's our interaction with this world, the interaction of the jiva, of the human being. All that comes under the category of empirical reality that you talked about. So that is the Laukika Vyavahara, Laukika Satyam. Sorry, it's called Vyavaharika Satyam. Okay.
Yeah.
As opposed to the other two realities. So I think, I think, are you familiar with the three realities?
Yes, projected reality, absolute reality, and empirical reality, which you are referring to as a transactional reality.
Correct, exactly. So the minute we talk about Vyavahara, we have to give attributes. We cannot talk about Brahman. Because Brahma is not available for any vyavahara. Because Brahma is attribute free. And so Brahma gives its existence to all activity, no doubt about that. But when we talk about activity, then you have to talk about Jiva, Ishvara, etc. Okay.
So when Krishna says that I am present in all bodies, but I am not attached to them, and I am not Jiva, what does it mean?
It means it is referring to Brahma.
I see.
I am Brahma, not
Okay.
attached. Because Brahma is not attached.
Right, right,
It cannot be attached, means unaffected by
Right.
the creation itself. So
right.
they're referring to Brahma.
So
we'll
if Jiva is an absolute reality as a formless reality, how is it affected by any kind of law of karma?
So the law of karma applies to the jiva because the jiva thinks that the law of karma applies to the jiva. The jiva is the one who considers oneself to be a karta, a doer. And so when doership is there has to be phalam, result is there very much. And phalam means drishtapalam and adrishtapalam both. And our common experiences, there is drishtapalam. And Shastram comes and says, hey, there is something also in addition to drishtapalam, there is adrishtapalam, punyam and papam. And therefore, this papa and punya kicks in for that jiva. But suppose the jiva says, no, there can be no papa and punya for Atma and I am Atma. And that is clear for the jiva. Then papa and punya is not there. Correct? Papa and punya is there as long as ignorance is there. See, the sunrise is there. Sunrise is there. Sunrise is there. Sunrise is real. Sunrise is paramarthikam, very real. It's real as long as you don't know. It's absolutely real as long as you don't know. The minute you know, then you can still enjoy the sunrise, but you know the sun doesn't move with respect to the earth. Earth moves around the sun, but not the other way around. That's the knowledge which negates that punya and papa. Like it negates the movement of the sun. So the Atma being subject to punya and papa is negated by the knowledge.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Jaykumarji, can we say Ishvara is Brahman with, like Maya Sahita Brahman is Ishvara?
Yeah, Maya Sahita Brahma is Ishvara. Correct. That's the definition of Ishvara. Maya Sahita Brahma. So without Maya, Brahma cannot, Ishvara is helpless. No creation can happen. Therefore, Ardhanarishwari. Therefore, the one cannot be separated from the other. Purusha cannot be separated from Maya.
Brahmashraya Maya.
Brahmashraya Maya. Correct.
Kumarji, so the three aspects of human life, the three states, like when you talk about Ishvara, the dream state and awakened state and deep sleep state, you can say Ishvara related to deep sleep. Similarly, the equivalent names are like Hiranyagarbha as and Virat, related to three different. So, but again, there are Saguna Brahma, but three different names depending upon what aspect it is, isn't it?
Correct. Vyashti versus Samashti. Correct.
Yeah.
So that's a brilliant connection because it connects the human being to the entire cosmos. Yeah, Vyashti, Samashti. Very important. That brings in an appreciation of Ishvara. Correct. Okay. So what we'll do now is, let's see what time it is. Okay, so it's about 5 minutes to 8 here. So we have time for chanting Gita Dhyanam. Some of you wanted to have a recording of that. So any other questions you have, you please ask in the next class.